Write the world-changing book that will help grow your personal brand and your business as it makes the world a better place. Welcome to the Author's Corner, hosted by Robin Colucci. Every episode, we bring you some of the most successful authors, as well as other industry experts, to share some inspiration, motivation, tactical strategy, and fun. We'll also talk about the challenges and trends in the publishing industry. Don't get stuck in the idea phase. Join the Author's Corner today. Start writing the book you've dreamed about.
So what I want to talk about is we just put out this blog post last week about our ongoing 100% success rate of our book proposal clients going on to successfully obtain a literary agent, and then the agents has successfully sold their book. And I thought it would be cool to talk about how we do that, because there's definitely some secret sauce in here that has enabled us to have such an extraordinary success rate. And one of those, and I think probably it's way up there in the top two, is that we choose very carefully who we allow into our book proposal development program. So we're looking for a very specific kind of person in terms of what kinds of ideas they have that they want to share, and who they are in the world already. So our mission is to help world-class experts write world-changing books. And the implied element of that mission that we all on our team have in our hearts and minds all the time is to change the world so it's better for everyone, and not just a few select people, right? But to make the world better for everyone. And so the first thing we're always looking for is this person bringing forward ideas that I can get passionate and excited about, and that I know everybody on my team is going to be passionate and excited about? Because if we can't be a strong advocate for our client, if we're not really emotionally attached to the idea of their book getting out in the world, then that impetus isn't there to support their success. The other side of that, the other element of that that's also really vital, is that they have to be ready to enter into that step, because they have to be at a certain point in their development where they are ready to go to an agent who can then take them to the publisher. So that means they have to already have some real life experience, often decades of experience and expertise in the field that they're writing about. Or maybe they've got decades of experience in one field, but they're transitioning to a related field. That also can work. You don't have to be, some myths to dispel here is you don't have to be a celebrity. You don't have to be a household name in order to get a book deal. I think a lot of people, if you read the blog post and you see like some of the people that we've helped to get deals, you've probably never heard of them before, right? But they had compelling, unique ideas to add value to the marketplace. And so in some cases, the bar is probably higher than you would think it is to be able to get a book deal. For example, if you're writing in the field of self-help or health, fitness, and medical topics, you have to have a much larger audience than you do if you're writing, for example, a business leadership book. So one of the things we look at is, based on the subject matter that this person is writing about, how ready are they to approach literary agents and ultimately publishers? And so if we examine the person who's coming to us and we determine that either they're ready to go now, or we believe with a little bit of coaching that we can help them get their platform to the point where they are ready to approach agents, then we invite them into the program. The other caveat that absolutely our 100% success rate depends upon is that they have to do exactly what we tell them to do, and in the time frame that we ask for it. So, or at least close to the time frame that we ask for it. Unfortunately, or fortunately for our clients, we've had a lot of people maybe take longer than we've asked to get the stuff done, but we still manage to help them get the result. But ideally, the time frame can make a difference, because sometimes there's a window of opportunity where a topic might be of particular interest, that interest could wane over time, or there could be so many other voices joining that conversation that the publishing industry decides, we have enough voices in this particular area. So it is really important that people are responsive and operating in the timeframes that we're asking. But obviously, I don't even put into the calculation people who don't do what they're told or go rogue or don't complete the actual proposal. They're not in our calculation for 100% success, obviously, because they didn't participate 100%. And then beyond that, I think once we are looking at, so when we have a proposal, what is it about our proposals that make them more successful than the basic proposal or the basic approach that somebody might use? And I think one of the things also is that, if you look up a directory of literary agents, you'd probably find there's like a couple thousand literary agents in the United States who claim to be working agents. But there's varying degrees of how committed people who call themselves literary agents are to actually taking on clients and selling books on their behalf. And so one of the things that ensures our clients' success is that we already have contact and good relationships with literary agents who are really serious about their work. Most of our agents are in the top 40 agents in the US. And so they're very committed and they're consistently closing deals, and they have vibrant and lively relationships with all these editors at the publishing houses. So they're in a position to obtain these deals. So if you're just doing cold queries to agents, be aware that you might be sending a query to somebody who's not even really active. Right. So it's important, so to realize that if you send a query to an agent and you don't hear anything, it's either because they're not interested, but it also potentially could be because they're not really that active. So I'd recommend, if you're querying on your own, you want to send your query, make sure you send your query to at least some agents that are really highly active, so that you could potentially get some feedback, or even getting no feedback would give you more information than just sending blanket queries to agents that you're not really that familiar with how serious they are. But we only share our proposals with agents who are serious and committed to their work, and it helps that I have a good reputation with them, right? So they see a proposal come in from us and they know it's going to be a good read, whether or not they're interested in pursuing the client or not. And so those relationships really go a long way. But part of why those relationships work is that we're so good at vetting the clients in the first place. So they know that it's never going to be a waste of time to read that proposal and give us their feedback. Obviously, I think another reason why we're successful is that the proposals are just very well designed and very well written. We are always very aware of some key things that either excite or turn off agents and ultimately publishers. So they're excited by new innovative ideas. They're excited by the possibility of selling a lot of books. They're excited about certainty. So if we can show them some certainty that that this project is going to sell a lot of books, that goes a long way. They're excited about the author's network. If the author has the ability to get other people who maybe are household names behind their book, that can be huge. Or a big name doing the foreword, that also excites them. There's a lot of other things that excite them, but I'm going to go over to what might turn them off. I might think of more things that excite them, but things that what you want to be really aware of is that whatever you say you're going to do to promote your book, you have to already have demonstrated that you're doing. What they hate to see is a big, long laundry list of all the things you're going to do once you have a book deal to grow your platform and start promoting yourself, when you have zero evidence that you've done any of it. I can tell you, all that does is make them wonder why you're not doing it now if you already know you should be doing all these things. And they feel pretty certain that you're never going to do them, whether you get a book deal or not. And so I've seen so many people write proposals who do this. They say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. As soon as I have a book deal, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I also know from talking to agents that if they write back to somebody who queries them on their own and says, hey, these are all the wonderful things I'm going to do when I have a book deal. That if the agent writes back to that person and says, love your proposal, and, I think if you could start doing some of these things now, I could maybe help you. And then they never hear from them again. And if that happens enough times, which I promise you, anybody who's been agenting for a year or two, even it will happen plenty of times, then they just stop replying. They're just not, if they see that you say you're going to do a bunch of stuff and you've done nothing, you're never going to get you're not going to even get a serious reply, because they've already been shown by other people that they might have tried to help early in their career that it's just going to fall on deaf ears and nothing's going to happen. So they're not going to waste their time. So you need to present a unique idea. It needs to be well written. It needs to be professionally proofread. You don't want to it needs to be formatted according to an industry standard of how they want to see proposals. A really good resource besides us, if you just want to find a really good book, Michael Larson wrote what I think is the best book on book proposal writing, called How to Write a Book Proposal. It's the book that I used when I did my first book proposal, that I actually pitched to Michael Larson, and he loved my proposal. Go figure. We became good buddies. The pitch I gave him was actually it turned out I never even did the book, because I realized it wasn't a book, it was a product, and I ended up making a product. But he and I, it was the beginning of a great friendship between Michael and me. So, but it's a terrific book. And I think he came out with a more recent edition since the one I bought 20 years ago. I'm positive he did. But basically, he gives a really good overview of how to unpack the ideas that you want to share in your proposal in a way that's interesting to agents. But you need to show them not only that you can sell books, but you also need to show them that you can deliver on the promise of what you say you're going to write about. And that's where the chapter summaries and the sample chapter demonstrate that not only do you have great ideas, but you can express them in a powerful and engaging and entertaining way. So that's some of the secrets behind our 100% success rate. So I hope you've enjoyed this and found it helpful. Until next time, this is Robin Colucci, your host of the Author's Corner.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Author's Corner. You're one step closer to writing the world-changing book you've dreamed about for years. To access today's show notes and other helpful resources, simply visit our website at theauthorscorner.com. A positive review would be appreciated. Until next time.